Space, the final frontier. Space Station Ashland sits on the edge of Federation space with its companion ship, the USS Dilamus Christian. The space around them is full of mystery and strange wonders, where secrets are kept and danger lurks around every corner. The crew of the Dilamus Christian must navigate treacherous waters as they work to protect the Federation. But as they peer into the unknown, they will discover that the line between friend and foe is not always clear. They will be tested like never before and will face challenges that will push them to their limits. Join us on this adventure as we explore the farthest reaches of space and uncover the hidden truths that lie within the shadows. Tabletop Journeys presents Star Trek: Preservations.
A Saber-class vessel comes out of warp directly in front of the open space doors. The vessel has battle damage. Tobor, you recognize this battle damage. You know exactly what ship this is from. The huge scar that it is showing. You can see it has been quasi-repaired, but the scar reveals that there's actually sections of a couple decks along the saucer area that were destroyed by the attack that led to that damage. You are looking at the USS Rama, NCC 64266. The lighting goes purple. The station alarm very loudly proclaims Epsilon Protocol engaged. That is the sister ship of the Dilamus Christian. It was the second escort patrol vessel of the original Rutledge battle group from the Dominion War. That was damage that was taken from a major Jem'Hadar hit in the battle that ended the life of Nerlina Tobor. And in fact, part of the hits that were going for the Dilamus Christian were taken by that ship. It was attempting to escape when the Dilamus Christian was foundering, and a lot of personnel from the Dilamus Christian went to that ship, and from that ship there are a number of folks who basically were assumed killed in action or certainly missing in action that have yet to be recovered. We are currently sitting on 15 threat and 2 momentum. As we
just a quick recap. We're not in the secure deck at this point. We are back up in the normal parts.
Correct.
Okay. So the fact that went off is there's going to be a lot of people that are like, what is that? Yeah.
Correct. Things are shutting down. There are bulkheads that are starting to close. You are near a couple shuttle bays, but you are on the opposite side of where the DC would be. As bulkheads are starting to close, there is limited chance for you to get through all of the bulkheads to get back to the DC. You could, however, get to one of the shuttle bays. How would you like to proceed?
I say we go for it. Go for the DC.
I probably am starting to move in that direction, but if the commander has any alternate plans, it could be.
So you very quickly notice the stunned and shaken disbelief expression, and Najjar, your empathy just spikes off the scale of the impossibility and the horror and fear that's radiating off of Tobor right now. And he's pretty much staring up and out of the space dock windows and not cognizantly aware of anything else that's going around.
Najjar reaches out, puts his hand on the captain's shoulder, gives him a gentle shake, and says, "Sir, I can tell that something traumatic has just gone off inside you. I'm not sure what, but we need to make haste."
So hearing that, I will take a little bit more initiative and just start moving us in the quickest possible direction that I can. Given that I had worked with Najar and plans to the station, I'm hoping that we would know certain areas that we could get through quicker.
As we did a full, assisted with the full bringing up to code of this station and its personnel and testings, etc., I'm confident that we should all be very familiar with its layout.
Tanari, you notice, reaches up to his comm badge to tap it to call for a transport, and then last minute realizes the Dilamus Christian's transported offline and curses before going with you guys.
And ears Commander Tobor to follow if he's not responding much.
Is the DC it's in a shuttle bay? Not in a shuttle bay, but it's in an enclosed.
Yes.
It's in a dry dock.
Yeah. In specific, and I will set the stage for you. And this is going to be hard to describe for the audio audience, but I'll try. If you consider the inside of the station as a smaller version of Starfleet Space Dock 1, right? And you're in that top mushroom head section. The doors we're talking about are the big doors that most ships come through. What you have is a smaller version of that, where basically there's a ring, a corridor that has glass facing the open space of the inner part where the ships are, that goes the entire round around that, right? You're on that level. So everything to your right shows the docks and the inner space dock. Everything to your left is walls and doors into other facilities. Some of the spots to your right will have doors that lead basically either down or up a short turbo lift, like one level, to a major shuttle bay where there will be shuttles in those bays. Every so often, there are gigantic bulkheads that close very slowly but very securely. All of those are closing. You have 5 bulkheads to clear before you get to the section that allows access to the Dilamus Christian.
Okay, so second clarification point. Is the Rama inside that docking area, or is it still outside?
The Rama is outside.
Okay. All right, so we start making our way, and as we're running, I do hit the comm badge, and Ocean Narilla.
She will respond.
Yep. Incoming threat. Get the DC ready for departure.
She responds with an affirmative. And I will ask this question of the crew assembled here, specifically Ocean. Tobor, if you wish to chime in, based on what we've talked about, you're probably going to have to make a roll to be more cogent in this moment, unless you're like, okay, I had my moment and I want to come back from it. That's your call. But if you feel that your character is still massively traumatized at this moment, I'm fine with us using a roll to do that. I'll let you make that decision. But let me pose this decision with you. And I'm just going to set the stage and let you know what the difficulties are so you can make a knowing plan, because you're correct. You've all been a part of this station long enough to know how this is going to work, and you know what you're capable of doing. Effectively, to get through each bulkhead is the number of successes you're going to need in a physical challenge to clear that space, right? This is basically going to be a fitness roll with whatever you feel is appropriate to go along with fitness. You can aid each other. You can use whatever you need to spend to be able to do that. But I will say complications will cause doors to get further closed, right? And I'm only going to do this as one roll as opposed to 5 separate rolls, because I think that'd be too tedious for our audience. If we were gaming in person, I would probably roll out each one. But in this case, it's going to be 5 successes. Any successes less than 5, that tells you how far you get before it closes. Now, there is a shuttle bay where you are, so you can do nothing and get into a shuttle bay. There is a shuttle bay 2 in. So if the bulkhead's closed and you're locked in, you got a shuttle bay. But by time the bulkhead's closed, they're all closed. So your access, you could, depending on where you get trapped, trap you in a section without access to get to your ship, or a shuttle bay. So every other, so where you are, Section 2, Section 4 are shuttle bays, and the Dilamus Christian is in Section 5.
So perhaps race in that direction, and when we get to the spot where we could get in the shuttles, assess where we're at then?
Yep.
Yeah.
So that's what we're looking at. I will also say from a trait standpoint, I am going to ask everybody to make a difficulty 2.
From what it's sounding, this sounds, because especially since we're going to do one task, why don't we pick a main roller and then have the rest of everyone assist them and turn it into kind of a traditional assist? And we have enough momentum under 2E to add more than one assistant to the role. And I think
I
we're good.
will. Yep, that sounds like a good idea, but I'm first going to let everybody know the difficulty here because some of you have more difficulties than others. And the reason are Tenari, for instance, starts this with 1 difficulty on this challenge because he started this tired. And with that level of stress, not mechanical, but stress and the whole interview process and being in there for quite a while, everybody's going to be making a fitness check to see if they have any more difficulty with the traits here. That's why I was going to do it individually, and there is the possibility that you all get trapped in separate sections if somebody's slower than somebody else. So I did want to keep us as separate roles in this case for that purpose, because I think there's a little bit of drama if the crew gets separated and then they individually have to find their way to aid or get back to the ship in that regard. So I have
a
the map.
question.
Yes,
I
sir.
do have a question about the shuttles. What are we
Yep.
talking about for the shuttles? Are we talking about runabouts, or are we talking about like just the standard like work shuttle?
So it depends on which shuttle bay you go to. The shuttle bay where you're at has worker bees. The shuttle bay 2 has standard warp capable, but they're going to be your 6, 7 types. And then the third shuttle bay would have runabouts.
Okay.
And there is a 6th one. If you bypass the Dilamus Christian, there's a 6th section which has Raven class ships, basically the Aegis ships. And they're also Raven class in Section 7 and coming back around in Section 8. That is basically a large cargo bay area where cargo can get offloaded.
Got it.
And where you are, you could also go the other way around as well, but because it's a circle, right? So you could go 8, 7, 6, 5, which would be 1, 2, 3, only 4 to get there, but there are no shuttle bays. So there'd be other than where the Ravens are, and whether or not there are Ravens in there or not, you do not know. Whereas you know that there are at least 1 or 2 shuttles in each of the shuttle bays. So it's more about better odds to get where you're going the other way, but the risk is a lot higher if you don't make it than if you go the way you were headed to go around.
Yep. All right,
So-
let's keep going with that way then.
All right. So first thing, 2 difficulty on the fitness check to see if any of y'all get very, very tired in this process. I'm going to just start where I see you from the top left. Tenari, you have a difficulty on this roll of 1. So for you, you would need 3 to not get more tired in this case, not get more fatigued. And so obviously we're talking fitness as your attribute. How would you care to do your department? And do you have any focuses that would apply?
Actually, I have survival as a focus.
All right. That would definitely work.
And I'd argue fitness engineering since we're trying to go through the bulkheads and using my knowledge of Aspen Station.
I'll buy that.
And since I've got an extra 1, I'd like to go ahead and spend my determination. Using the value, a starship is where I belong.
I dig it. And what's your determination spend going to be?
To go ahead and get the success on this.
Now, one of the nuances with 2nd edition is the way that determination spend works.
Okay.
Is it doesn't get you an extra die. What it does is it takes one of the dies you've purchased and turns it into an automatic 1.
Okay.
So right now you technically have 2 dice, one of which is automatically a 1.
So that means I have 2 successes.
And then, I don't know, you have
What-
procedural
one die-
compliance, don't you?
I do have procedural compliance. So that's an automatic 3.
So you can set that other die aside and get a success.
Sounds good to me. So that's a 3 with no extras.
Excellent. You do not get more tired then. And now it's Glenn.
All right, so I have a 2 difficulty fitness challenge.
Yep. And
How
whatever.
is Commander Tobor responding currently? As I'm still guiding and steering him, has he recovered at all, or does he still seem a little out of it?
He's starting to get his composure back, but emotionally, he has literally just seen ghosts and is pretty shaken. If you weren't an empath, you wouldn't know, but he's like looking while walking and not like really noticing what's in front of him. But until the exterior doors shut and there's no visual anymore on the Rama.
Those external doors will close at the same time that the bulkheads close. They're on the same time frame. All right. So that's your answer to that question, Glenn?
As Najjar is specifically trying to propel and make sure Commander Tobor keeps up, do you want to increase his difficulty, or am I still just a 2?
You're a 3.
May I also use to make sure that the commander is able to keep up determination? Is there a good use that would make it work?
Similar to what Dave did, you can take 1 die, set it aside, make that a critical 1, so that would cover 2 of the 3 successes you need.
Okay. And since I'm taking the extra difficulty to assist Commander Tobor, does it lower his difficulty?
No.
So none of this, so me taking on the extra difficulty doesn't help him in any way?
It will, because I was really doing this as an individual thing. I will allow you to roll an assist die to Tobor when his roll comes up.
Perfect. Then to make sure that I succeed, I will, we're already in a threatening situation, buy a die for 3 with threat.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's only 1 die, Glenn, because
It's,
you're rolling your 3rd die.
yep. Because you had 2, you set 1 aside for a critical 2 successes. That leaves you with 1 of 2 to roll, and you just bought a 2nd die.
Right. So I have 2 successes, 2 dice. I need 1 more success.
Right.
Yes, and you're
I'm with
currently
you.
rolling 1 die, and if you wish to roll a 2nd die, you spend 1 threat.
That's what I mean. So I'm buying the 3rd die, but one of them's already taken up by the 1.
Correct.
So I have 1 to roll and 1 that I'm buying with threat, so that I have a
Yeah.
reroll to avoid complications.
Okay, because you said
Correct.
3 threat, and it's only 1 threat.
It's only costing you 1 threat, is what we're saying.
I was saying 3 dice is what I meant to say. If I said it wrong, I apologize.
No worries. We just want to clarify for the sake of accuracy. This is a critical move. This is a tense situation.
So let's see. Fitness control, as I'm trying to propel Commander Tobor as well. No, it's
I'm down with that.
Sorry, it would be fitness secure. It's not.
Yeah,
Yeah,
fitness,
security.
not control.
Fitness security. I'm propelling a suspect, if I must. So
he's not totally wrong. You were just a suspect, so
You're supposed to say all that experiencing propelling other suspects is being used here.
Oh, I got
Give
you.
me this image of Najjar perp walking Tobor through the bulkheads.
Like,
you just see him watch the dog get dunk.
So survival, we decided, was an acceptable focus. I have 1 4. That's 2 more successes is a critical success for 4 successes total, and 1 not complication but failure, which I'll re-roll and see if I can turn into a 5th success with a 5, which creates another critical for 2 more successes, total of 6.
Ooh, so that gives you 3 momentum for a total of 6 momentum. Now with those 3, you have an immediate spend. Is there anything you would like to do with said immediate spend?
How about I spend 2 momentum to create an advantage as Najjar shouts, "Wait, I remember a shortcut through a service corridor," and to shave time off of our trip.
I will allow that. And I will say that will give you, take away the 2 momentum, you're at 4, and I will allow that to reduce the need for 5 successes to get where you're going, to reducing it to 4 successes to get where you're going.
I like
Good
that.
call. And there's 4 momentum and 14 threat.
Buttload of threat. Heard.
All right. And Joe, your fitness roll, your fatigue roll.
You got this, Captain. Stay with us.
All right, so I've got composure, so I'm gonna use the mental side of it to get my wits back to me.
Yep.
And then need to check. I'm gonna spend 1 momentum to activate my talent. I did the reading. I know the proper way, all the corridors and such, and so I'll have that focus, and I'll be able to use my science skill instead of fitness con to navigate us back to the ship.
Excellent.
So fitness, that was it an expanded complication range?
Nope.
Excellent, because I got a 2 and a 19, so I got 2 successes.
Excellent. And Glenn gets to roll an assist.
My assist is a 2. If it matters, that would be a critical success based on my focuses. I don't know if that, but that doesn't count as an assist roll, I don't think.
No, it always does.
No, it absolutely does. That's going to give you 2 momentum. You have 2 more momentum. Glenn, how would you like to spend that?
As this is Joe's roll, wouldn't it count towards him?
I would give it to both of you. It's your assist that the extra came from, but yeah.
We'll leave it to Joe, the captain. I already used momentum on the last round.
Yeah, and also I didn't buy a die with momentum. I use it for my talent. So I think we've got 4 momentum.
Yep.
Right now. I think let's spend
you're 5 momentum currently.
5 momentum. Let's spend another 2 to increase the potency of our scene trait of we know a shortcut. So we'll go from 5 to 3.
Okay.
Love it.
So that takes 2 more away or 3 more away at this point? 2. Okay.
So we're down to 3.
Down to 3, and that from 4 to 3 is what's needed to get all the way. And Lieutenant Commander Ocean.
Okay. So as I'm taking the lead of the point to get us moving, I'm also barking orders at anybody that I see that looks like they're Starfleet and are not quite sure what to do. I'm directing them to defensible spots, to get to your battle stations, get to whatever. So I would like to use Fitness Command to do this. And what do we have for momentum?
Nice, by the way.
What do we have for momentum? 4?
3.
3. I will spend 1. So, and I do have the focus lead by example. That is 2 successes.
Yeah, so you are not tired as well, so nobody gained any extra tiredness. We're now going to do our individual rolls to navigate and get as far as we can get. The difficulty has been lowered on that all the way from 5, 4, and it is now at a total of 3 successes to get all the way. I will also say, because of your command, I really liked the nuance of that roll, Adam. What that's going to account for, depending on how things go, is a +1 trait for the operations staff of Aslan Station. At a critical moment where people would not have known what to do, they have received orders. They have regained their composure. They are Starfleet officers that know exactly what to do. It just took, in a crazy moment, somebody giving them direction to get them there. And I think that was really cool. Aslan Station, if need be, will have a +1 to trait for anything involving its engineering and or security department, basically their operations staff. So, and that will be for the remainder of this conflict. The conflict is likely to go beyond this one scene. I guarantee it is, but it'll last for this entire conflict. So just something that to keep in mind. Let's see here. I'm going to pick random direction. I'll start with Commander Tobor. Your actual run for the money.
Sorry, Lee. Were we going to do this as one large group roll with a bunch of assists, or were we going to just do it individually?
Separate individually.
All right. And then similarly, I will spend a momentum to gain a die and continue to use my con and fitness. Oh no. 3, a 15, and a 20. So I have 2 successes.
Oops.
So I have a suggestion for a complication, Lee.
Sure.
Tobor disappears off the pad as he's transported off.
That's an interesting one, but I'm not doing that one.
All right.
What I am going to do with that complication, I'm not even going to bank the threat. I'm actually going to have this said over the loudspeakers, and it's a voice that Tobor hears quite clearly and remembers quite well. It is also a voice that anybody that was on the Breen prison station mission will also recognize. I'm back, Pritchard. You left me. And I'm back to let you know what a mistake that was. More importantly, I brought my friends. And from where you are, because you can see the opening coming out of warp, there are several Breen smaller ships. There are a few Federation type shuttles. There is a Zunian shuttle. And then there is one of the missing shuttles from that mission over 2 years ago where you've been dealing with the experimental fighter craft. One of those shuttles appears as well. And then he says, and I brought our friends. And you hear in a voice, you know why we're here. We want what's ours. You took it from us. And one of yours has helped us get here. The voice you're hearing is the second engineer, the person under your primary engineer from your original time on the Dilamus Christian, their second engineer. The voice that those who are on the Breen Prison Planet mission are recognizing is the voice of one of the prisoners that you relocated. And the other voice, there's some modulation, some weirdness to it, but you're pretty sure that that's somebody possessed by species Epsilon. You're not seeing anybody on a view screen, so you can't tell that, but that's what you're seeing. And that's the complication at this moment. Basically, the backup got here faster. And Najjar, your run for the money.
So the first one was the fitness test to see if we got more tired during the run, and now this is to see if we actually make it.
To be more specific, it was a fitness test to see if you got tired during the interrogation, which would impact the run you're now making.
Oh, okay, fair enough. And I have a difficulty of 3 now to make it.
That is, you're at 2.
I'm at a 2. All right, I will buy a die with threat.
Excellent.
So I have the reroll, fitness, security, big money, no whammies. I have 2 successes and 1 failure, not a complication since you didn't extend the range because that one was a 19. Oh, but I can re-roll that one and see if I get another success for more momentum because I did spend the threat.
Or a 20.
Or a 20. But it turns into another success for 3 successes, so we bank a momentum.
All right. So you have the ability to go beyond where Captain Tobor went, which would be to a 3, which would get you all the way because you only needed 3 to get there. So you can get all the way to the Christian. Commander Tobor cannot. Commander Tobor can get to Section 4, which has the runabouts.
I'm not leaving the captain. Is there anything that I can do with my success to help him catch back up?
Other than spend 2 momentum to will a thing into existence? No.
Okay, so I earned 1 momentum, and we have momentum. How
One
many
moment.
momentum?
If it doesn't look like Tobor is going to make it and Najjar is struggling to get him, I will shout out, get him into a runabout and use the transporters.
Fair enough. Then I will shift to that plan for motion and realizing the captain's not going to make it, I'm not going to leave him. So We'll guide him
All right.
towards a runabout and be like, "That's a good. Thanks, Commander." And as he seems to be getting himself back, but still hasn't spoken a lot or started to take command again, Najar will try to be encouraging as we go. He's, "Yeah, that's a good plan. Let's get to the transporters and see if we can get ourselves onto the Christian."
Excellent. And we're going to shift to Dave.
Okay, Tanari will. I'll still use fitness engineering. Tanari is much like Najar, split between wanting to help the captain and get to his ship, but with Ocean's orders, he will head to the ship. I will spend a threat to get a third dice.
Oh, yeah. That's what
I
I'm
will
talking about.
I'll use procedural compliance to get one success. My survival focus still counts.
Yes.
Okay. That's a 5 and a 10. One of those is a critical, so that means I've got a total of 4 successes.
Excellent. And you only needed 3. That gives you
One bonus momentum.
1 bonus momentum. Any spend you would like at this stage?
I have also a bonus momentum I have to spend now from Intense.
Correct.
I'll let it go and just bank this. I have a feeling we're going to need momentum in the future.
Okay, so what are you doing with your bonus momentum? Because that has to be spent.
Tell you what, I'll just use that to reduce the time so I can get to the hatch first and open it for people.
Okay. Excellent. All right, so we've got Tanari, Tobor, Najar, and Lieutenant Commander Ocean.
I am continuing to hotfoot it, and this time I'm still barking orders, but I'm barking orders to the crew of the DC, letting them know that we have a hostile situation outside the station and to be prepared to go to red alert immediately.
Excellent. And your roll, sir?
I am going to use the same thing I used last time. I am not going to buy a die. I rolled an 8 and a 10, so I've got 2 successes.
All right. That's 2. That will get you to the shuttle area, but not all the way to the DC.
Okay. So I was last, yes?
Yep.
Okay. How much time do we have left?
After this decision, things are pretty much going to seal up. There's a couple things that are happening, and I'm going to let you collectively make a call, or whoever wants to say the words. Transporting from the shuttle area to the DC is absolutely possible. However, the DC can't get out of here once it seals. The DC would be trapped inside with all the bad stuff happening outside.
And the
I've
only
seen
person...
Armageddon where they took the armadillo thing and used the guns to just shoot a freaking hole and drove out. We can get out.
Tanar, you're at the DC?
Yes, I am.
Okay. If that's the case, I'm not going to make it either. I will go with Najar and Tobor. Get the ship going, get us out of here. And I will come to the bridge of the DC, get the ship out of the station before the doors close.
Can you give me the target number for the DC's control and engines, please?
Engines is 10, control is... So wait, what? Control and... Oh, sorry.
So you want engines con?
Yes, engines con, sorry.
Yeah, so that would be 14.
The difficulty of a cold start to get out of here as these doors are closing is going to be a 4. Do you want Ensign Lusan to spend momentum to get extra dice?
Yes.
And how many? You've got 3 total momentum.
It's a 4?
Yep.
What is it? It's
That would get him
1,
2 extra dice on this roll if you spent out.
Yeah, he'll need to spend it all to get to 4.
Let's spend it all.
All right. Last question before I shake my moneymaker, so to speak.
Can I assist on since I'm the engineer?
You absolutely can. Do you want to add 3 threat to buy 1 last die?
I was going to use the roll ability for the commanding officer to give Lusan my determination point.
Okay.
I'll crackle in. Ensign, prepare the ship for battle.
All right. So that's a no on the extra threat. You got 4 dice, and you're going to go with your extra bit.
Yep. So only roll 3 of them. Oh, actually, you roll all 4, and then you choose one. So you can choose one that rolled a 20 and turn it into a 1.
Okay. Let me see. Does anybody have Lusan's character sheet handy?
Standard
Okay.
supporting crew doing their primary thing is a 14.
I think I can find it. Because he actually is better than a standard character right now, because he's been a speaking role several times now.
He's our Sulu.
All right. So he has a target for 11. And you said you're using your determination to give him your focus?
No, I'm giving him my point of determination, so he can spend it to get the auto 1.
Ah, gotcha. Okay. So of the 4, one of them is a 1.
You roll the 4 dice, and then you choose one to set to 1.
Okay, got it.
So you can.
So I am going to inaugurate my fancy dancy Star Trek giant light upable mouse pad, which is not lit right now because it's daytime. We have a 15, a 15,
Uh-oh.
a 5, and a 3.
And
So
for an
the-
assist, I got a 4, which is also a critical.
So,
Okay.
so Lee,
I will say his astronavigation focus does count. And his con is a 3, so the 3 is 2 successes. So give me a second. I'm just going to add my successes so I don't lose track. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you got 2 successes, Dave?
Yes.
All right. And then somebody can roll for the ship.
okay, go ahead now. Now, Lee, Lusan rolled 3 successes, right?
Yes.
Take one of those 15s and turn it into a 1.
Okay. Actually, yeah, he actually rolled 4 successes because one of his rolls was a critical also.
All right. The ship
What
rolled a
did you do?
15, which is, I believe, not under what it needed.
Okay. So,
Engine's con is a 15 on the Christian.
Is it?
so yep.
Yep. That's
My
our,
sheet is outdated then.
so I'm counting 8 successes.
I'm counting 9 successes.
Wow.
Okay, I'll take it.
And that's 9 successes out of 4 that needed to be done. So that's 5 successes that follow.
Well,
All
he
right.
didn't let us down, did he?
Lusan got the job done. As he says, excitement is what I live for. All right. So you've got 5 momentum. Is there something you would like Lusan to spend that, or does that get banked?
I would like, actually, I have an idea of something to spend it on. It's 3 to spend to get a special something, right?
It's 2 to create an advantage.
Yeah.
What would it cost for us while we're hauling tail out of the dry dock to grab the runabout with our tractor beams?
No, I actually have an even better one.
Okay.
Because we have the extensive shuttle bay. So the runabout comes swooping across, and the Christian, like a giant humpback whale, swallows the runabout in the shuttle bay as we fly through the closing doors, doing the like sideways twist and escape out.
Yep.
So we do a barn
Tanaris insane enough
swallow,
to do that.
a barn swallow a la Firefly with.
Yep.
Yeah.
That'll work.
Tanari sits down in the center chair, says, Lusan, get us out of here, grab that runabout, then leans forward and says, let her rip.
And with that, the Dilamus Christian goes to maximum impulse inside station, spins clockwise, goes in sideways, and does a wiggle as the external doors close. Because these external shuttle doors, it's not like a straight door. There's a little kind of curve in the middle of it. And as it goes sideways, it then wiggles to fit right in the notch. Doesn't even scratch the paint as it exits. The door closes. Aslan Station is secured. You are face to face with the USS Rama, the subsequent Breen, and associated flotilla. We currently have, you said you spent 2 for that maneuver?
Yes.
All right, so we have 3 momentum. We have 16 threat.
Incoming transmission.
And On your screens, because those in the shuttle who are just landing, the engineer there on screen and standing next to them, a Zunian, not one of the ones you've known specifically or seen before, but they clearly have the whole blue eye thing going on right now. And you can see some people sitting in chairs on the bridge, but like not facing you, and you can see the little fluctuating breathing apparatus sticking out of the back of their neck. And Rama says, I don't know you in your current form, but they tell me that you have a little bit of Narila Tobor in you.